Beautiful.
So this is Dr. Matt, and he's doing our BOAS testing, respiratory greeting function testing at the NACA Dog Show.
So just to walk you through, like we are looking at the nares. For Bobby, she does have some moderate stenosis to the nose there. And then I'm just having a listen without aid of a stethoscope to get a feel for are there any unusual sounds. Also just to get a feel for the character of her breathing in general. This is all new and different for her at the show, so she's doing a lot of sniffing, taking things in, and that's okay. We want to know those sounds that are normal sounds that we don't consider to be pathology sounds. And then we're listening with benefit of the stethoscope and 4 points there. Up front here, cranially, and then further back caudally to get a feel for the different parts of upper airways. And same on the other side, making sure that we're not listening over the trachea or putting any pressure on things. Good job, baby girl. And we're just finishing up by having a quick listen to the heart. And a quick listen to the lungs.
So what are you listening for? What sort of sounds would you be able to describe what you occasionally hear?
I'm listening primarily for sturdor. So sturdor is that deep bass rubbing sound of too much tissue in the airways. And that's what we hear most commonly when we hear pathological sounds. The other sound we're listening for is stridor, those really high-pitched whistling sounds that we get in severe disease, often severe disease where there's some edema and fluid going on in those airways. And so the next step then is to take these patients through a 3-minute light exercise, light jog sort of walk.
Okay.
So we're aiming for about 4 to 5 miles an hour in the circuit, which is really just about show speed for them.
Perfect.
So I think that's something that's important to know. We are not running these patients. It's, depending on your height, a fast walk, a light jog sort of thing.
Okay.
And that's designed just to get the air moving a little faster across the airways, just trying to figure out, if we were a borderline score, which one of the two makes more sense.
Okay.
And the nice thing about this scheme is it's a very holistic scheme. So we are assessing nose, we're assessing nasal turbinates, we're assessing palate, we're assessing trachea, we're assessing laryngeal saccules in this process.
And do you find that you can identify through the scope testing which is the problem area in particular dogs?
I would say we can make suggestions.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
One of the very interesting things, we've been doing this for a year now, is the least reliable of score in health seems to be the nares.
Right.
We will have patients that have severely stenotic nares and still score a perfect 0.
Wow.
And have no concerns whatsoever.
Okay.
And then we'll have the opposite. We have had some Bulldogs, so you could drive a truck through those nares.
Right.
But if everything else is a problem, they still score poorly and still might benefit from surgery. And I think that's important for breeders to know. I think it's incredibly important for veterinarians to know that just what you see on the surface is not a good marker of total health for them.
Absolutely. That's something that needs to be well explained and understood. So when you grade between, what gradings do you give? Can you describe what's the difference between the...
Absolutely. So it's a 4-point grading scheme. A grade 0 is literally, I hear no abnormal air sounds whatsoever.
Okay.
A grade 1 means I can hear that air moving with a little bit more force in the airways, but it's a patient that is clinically normal, that we have no concerns in the individual whatsoever.
Okay.
A grade 2 means that I can hear some moderate of that sturdor, that deep bass rubbing sound from too much tissue going on.
Okay.
And that's a patient that's considered clinically affected. There's a spectrum of grade 2s. Some where I'm not convinced that that individual dog would benefit from surgery at all. Others are a more severe grade 2 that might benefit from some airway surgery. And then a grade 3 is clinically affected. That is a dog that is struggling to breathe, that needs airway surgery, that we really should not consider as part of breeding schemes moving forward.
And since this has began in Canada, what do you find is the average overall for brachycephalic breeds? What is the status of our breeds, would you say, currently in Canada for Brax?
The average is a 1.
Is a 1, okay.
We're doing very well
good,
across Canada, absolutely. Right, and I think that's important for us to know as far as breed health. I think it's important for the general public to know as far as breed health, how well we are doing. And I think it's important for us to have that information in our back pocket when we are dealing with those that, are the naysayers of the group, right? That think that Brachiocephalics can't be healthy. Our breed standards produce very healthy Brachiocephalic
Wonderful,
dogs.
wonderful. So that was her 3 minutes, quick pace walk.
Hi, baby girl. And so then the same thing, we are listening without benefit of the stethoscope. And that is exercise, right? We expect them to be breathing a little bit heavier. We expect them to be doing some panting. And now we're listening with benefit of the stethoscope, same thing. And for Bobby here, she's 7.5 years old. She moves around the ring well. I hear no abnormal sounds whatsoever. So Bobby here today is a grade 0.
Wonderful. Congrats, Bobby.